Hey guys, it's been a while since I talked about really, electronics or audio components and systems. So I just want to talk a little bit about this amplifier. And again, this is not going to be a full review on this amplifier. I just want to talk about it and talk about some of the features this amplifier have and is it worth getting for the price. So I'm going to start now. So basically, this is the SMSL Q5 Pro digital stereo amplifier. And I got this amplifier about a year ago, so I really had time to listen to it and try out all the functions to see how this amplifier really sounds. And at the end of this video, I'm going to let you guys know if it's worth getting, or should you buy something else. Well, to start with, this is really a small compact amplifier, and again, this has everything that you need to to set up to connect to either a PC or even a TV. So I think this would be a great system. I think this would be a great device for a desktop system if you have a laptop and you just want to connect a pair of speakers or even large speakers to your laptop. This is the amplifier that you can use. And again, in the past I had topping amplifiers and I'm trying to think of other brands of these little digital amplifiers or these T amps. So this was my first time actually trying a SMSL1, and I have to say it's not really a bad amplifier, but if you compare sound quality to other amplifiers like this, for example the topping TP30, which is also a digital amplifier. But I forgot to mention one thing: this amplifier actually has a built-in DAC. So by having a built-in DAC, this allows you to connect your speakers to your PC or to your laptop, and also connect your speakers to your TV. So basically, if you want to have a speaker system or you want to play your sound from your TV to your pair of hi-fi speakers or bookshelf-sized speakers, you can do this with the amp. There's nothing else that you need to buy. And let me show you for a minute. So basically, and the reason why you can hook it up directly to your TV because it has the built-in DAC. So most TVs, I think now, they have a coaxial input, and also either a coaxial input or a digital output on a TV. So what you need to do is basically, as you see on the back right here, if you have your layouts. So right now I'm just going to talk about the layouts on the back of this amplifier. So right here you have your power jack, so where your adapter go, your speaker terminals, and this one actually has a subwoofer output. So basically, if you have a subwoofer and you want to have more bass, or basically you have small speakers and you want to add a subwoofer to this amplifier, you can. So that's really nice. And here you go, you have your coaxial input and your optical input. So basically, if you have a TV, your TV has either one or both of these inputs. Your TV either has a coaxial or a optical output on it, on your TV. And the optical output is basically your Toslink connector. So this is how you would connect your or connect this amplifier to your TV using one of these two connectors right here. So you just take a RCA cable will work. You could buy a digital cable, but even a basic RCA cable I think will work because I did it before. And you just plug this in. You take the cable, you plug it into your coaxial input right here, and then you take the other end of the cable, plug it into your TV, and then you will have digital sound, and you'll be able to send the sound from your TV to your speakers. That's nice. And you also have a USB input, and again, this USB input is basically connected to the DAC. So if you want to hook a pair of speakers up to your laptop, this is what you would use. You would use this this USB input right here, which connects to your DAC, and it gives you the sound. This also has a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jack, and you see a lot of people that really connect these small amplifiers to their laptop using one of those 3.5 millimeter cables. And basically that's the wrong way to connect it, especially if this amplifier has a built-in DAC. You don't need to use an auxiliary or 3.5 millimeter cable to connect it to your laptop, because they use the headphone jack that's in their laptop, and then they plug that cable into right here. And basically what that does, it bypasses, basically it uses the sound card that's in your laptop. And anytime you use the sound card in your laptop using this connector right here, this 3.5 millimeter connector, it's not going to give you the best sound quality. You know, it's going to run off the sound card in your computer, and it's not going to sound good. It's going to sound very low. You know, the volume is going to be very low, so you're going to basically have to turn the volume up on your amplifier just to get moderate sound, you know, just decent sound. So this is why you want to use a DAC, or you want to buy a amplifier that has a built-in USB DAC, because you just take your USB cable, plug it in here, and plug it into your laptop. I'm actually going to give you a quick demonstration of this. Let me see if I can find a USB cable real quick. Okay, so here you go. So basically you have to remember one thing. This amplifier uses a micro USB cable. There are other amplifiers out there that use a full-size USB cable, and I have to tell you from the start, I prefer using a full-size USB cable connector instead of using these micros, because these micro connectors will actually break, and they break real easy because they are basically soldered directly to the motherboard. So if you, let's say for example, put this cable in here like this, and again, this is one thing you know, I don't like about these amps that use these small USB cables, because they don't fit really tight. They fit kind of loose and they kind of stick out. It's not really a secure fit to me. So the problem is, you know, when you have this on your desktop and you leave the cable in it, of course, because, you know, into your PC, sometimes you're you know, if you move around your amplifier like this and the cable is still in it, believe it or not, over time your connector will get damaged. It would just it's soldered to the motherboard, so it would just basically break or loosen up off of the motherboard, and then this connector won't work anymore. And this is a problem that I have right now with this amplifier. And again, that's not with just only this amplifier, that's with any small amplifier that use a micro USB port. So this is why I don't really like these type of amplifiers if they have this micro USB port, because it breaks real easy. Even if you don't move it around and you kind of just adjust it on your desk like this with the cable connected, it will eventually break. So the best thing to do is just get a full-size USB cable. And topping, you know, the old topping amplifiers, they use that size, the standard size USB cable. But anyway, I'm just going to give you a demonstration. So you would plug your micro USB cable into the input right here, and then you would take a laptop, you know, your laptop or your PC like this, and then you would plug, you know, into your USB port like this, and there you go. So when you do that, basically you get your sound from your laptop to your speakers. You plug your speakers in and you have you know, digital sound. So basically this is the simplest and easiest way to get sound from your laptop to your speakers. And again, what's great about this, you don't have to buy a DAC because it's already built in. And this is the thing, when you connect your laptop to this amplifier using a USB cable, it basically bypassed the sound card that is in this laptop, and it runs off the sound card or the DAC that is built into this amplifier. So by doing that, you're going to get better sound. You'll get, you know, clearer, cleaner digital sound instead of the analog sound. So basically This connector right here, the 3.5 millimeter jack, is basically your analog connector. So you'll get analog sound. So that's why it doesn't sound quite as good as digital, because you're using this cable and it's running off the sound card that's in your laptop. So you want to bypass the sound card in your laptop by using a DAC. So this is what I like about this amplifier, because it has everything you need. The only thing it's missing is actually Bluetooth. And I don't use Bluetooth that much, you know, I just use it this way and with a pair of speakers, and it sounds great. But if you do want to use Bluetooth, I would recommend you can actually buy a Bluetooth adapter on eBay, which sells for about $15, from $20 to $15, and you can connect it to, you know, I think to the auxiliary jack using the 3.5 millimeter connector cable to this Bluetooth DAC, and you can actually have Bluetooth that way if you really need it, or if you want to have it on this thing. But again, that's the only thing that's missing is Bluetooth. It has everything else that you need. And again, you know, let's see. One thing that's really nice about this amplifier is the fact that it has a subwoofer output. So basically you connect the subwoofer to this if you need to get more bass. And this is the thing that I actually want to talk about, is basically the sound quality. You probably wonder how it sounds. And to be honest, you know, I use the toppings on other amplifiers, as I said before, and in my opinion, you know, I think the sound quality of this amplifier, it's decent. I'm not going to say it's great sounding. If you know about this brand of amplifiers, they make some, you know, amplifiers that sound really good or that sound great, but this particular model, the Q5, it doesn't sound as good as the other models. And one thing about this, it's more expensive. This is about $100. When it was introduced, it sold for $140. But now on eBay, you could get it for $50 or under. And this is the thing, it's not their best sounding amplifier, even though it's more expensive than the other ones. And for the sound quality, I still think the topping amplifiers sound better than this one. And this is the thing, you know, like all amplifiers, this one has a bit of distortion to it. Like, you know, when you listen to it by ear, it sounds really good. You know, I would say it sounds, yeah, pretty good, you know. It sounds pretty good, but to the average listener, it's going to sound really good, and you won't hear any distortion. But when you measure this on your computer using software, you can see the distortion and the response of this, which is not great. The only thing that's really good as far as sound quality of this is that it's really flat. It has a really flat response, so everything is level from 20, I think it's perfectly flat from 20 hertz all the way up to 10,000 hertz. It's ruler flat. So that's a positive. That's really good. But as far as sound quality go, you know, it sounds good to the ear, as I said before, and to most users it's going to really sound, you know, great. But when you measure with software, you will see the distortion levels, and it's not, you know, and the noise levels as well. But listening to it on a pair of speakers, you can't really tell. And this is one thing I can say about this amplifier, is that it's able to drive just about any speaker. Seriously, it can. And to start with, the wattage of this amplifier is actually, I believe, is depending where you go. If you go to the websites that sell this amplifier, they will list this as being a 50 watt per channel amplifier at 4 ohms. But if you go to other websites, they list it as 40 watts. So it's either 40, 45, or 50 watts per channel in 4 ohms. And in 8 ohms, it's 20 or 25 watts per channel, give or take 5 watts. But again, this amplifier has enough power to run full-size bookshelf speakers. You know, if you have a pair of bookshelf speakers that are like have 8-inch drivers, it will work perfectly with that. And this is what I recommend, using this amplifier with bookshelf size speakers, not really small speakers, because you can get good sound. And the reason why this little amp can drive large speakers is for the simple fact it has a bass boost in it. And the bass boost goes from 0 all the way up to like 9 decibels, right? And the thing about this, and this is when the distortion come in, let's say you have a pair of bookshelf speakers that have 8-inch drivers. Well, this amp will run it perfectly and it will give you really deep bass response. But in order to get bass response, deep bass response out of this amplifier, you're going to have to adjust the EQ on it, the bass EQ. And again, it goes from 0 to 9, but by default settings, it's actually set at 2. And 2 is not really enough. You have to set it up to, like, I would say 4. Right now I use it as 4. I adjust the bass to level 4, and it gives me enough bass to drive, like I say, larger speakers. But if I put it up to 6, 6 is really pushing it, because it starts to distort. And this is a whole point of this amplifier as far as the sound quality. It distorts at high levels. So if you adjust the bass anywhere above 6 all the way up to 9, it's going to heavily distort. You will be able to hear the distortion from your loudspeakers if you play them loud. So this is why I adjust the bass down to 4, because I think 4 is perfect. 2 is not enough, and that's the default setting. And doesn't really have much bass, and that's the thing. This amp don't have much bass until you adjust the bass level on it. So you have to do that from the start. And once you do that, you can really see how much power this amplifier have. So I'm gonna see if I could show you how to adjust the levels on it right now. I have a connector, hit the connector. So I'm just going to show you guys how it sets up and everything, how it cuts on. And again, you saw that. I don't know if you saw that, but you see that spark. And this is something that is not normal. You see a lot of people online will tell you, or the manufacturer will tell you that is normal when you plug in a connector. There's a spark, which is okay. Actually, that's what it says in the manual. And I forgot the other brand that makes digital amplifiers. It's really popular, and they say that's normal, but that is not normal. Even when you use the top-end amplifiers, that doesn't happen. It never sparks. So that's something that the company have to work with, because it's not normal. They tell you it's normal, but it's really not. No amplifiers are supposed to spark like that when you plug it in. And I had no idea it was going to do that. This is my first time, plugging it in like this. Even though I had the adapter already plugged into the outlet, it should not spark at all. So that's like I don't know, a problem that I see a lot with these type of amplifiers. Except for topping. Topping doesn't do that. So yeah. But here we go. I'm going to hit the power button. And let's see, your power button acts as your selector. It allows you to select UBS mode, auxiliary mode, and so on. So here we go. You just tap it once. See, it goes to USB, and that's what you would use to connect to your laptop to get the signal. Then you tap it again or hit it again. It's optical connector, and then you hit it again, it goes to coaxial. You hit it again, it goes to auxiliary, which is a 3.5 millimeter jack. And then you hit it again, and it goes back to USB mode. And here I was talking about the bass response. So how do you get to the bass? So I think you tap the volume knob right here like this. Let's see if I can get it. And there we go. And this is the bass. You can see right here it says bass. Okay, yeah. We're gonna hit it again. So this is the bass volume. So as I said before, as you can see, I leave it at 4 because it's just the right amount of bass. But if you set it at, you turn the knob to adjust it. If you set it at 2 like this, which is default when you buy it, it's not going to put out enough bass at all, So this is why I put it to 4. But if you put it up to like 6, that's the highest I will go for any type of speaker. Because if it gets any higher than 6, like 7, it goes all the way up to 9, it's going to distort. So it's going to distort really bad, especially at high volume. So you want to put it back to 4. So again, this little amplifier has enough power to drive even a pro monitor speaker. I have a 12-inch monitor professional speaker. It has a compression driver and a 12-inch woofer, and it's really huge, and it has enough power to drive that pro speaker. But you have to remember that the pro speaker actually has a sensitivity of 96 decibels, so it's going to play you know, fairly easy with a small amplifier like this, even this small, because it's very sensitive. And that's the thing with these amplifiers, these T-amps or these digital amplifiers. Usually they are like very sensitive, and this is why they are able to drive larger speakers, even though they are not that many watts, like 25 watts or even 15 watts, is because it's very sensitive. Yeah, as I was saying before, I keep the volume at 27, so that's loud enough. Well, I put it at 27 if I want to listen to it really loud, but I keep it at 20 because that's pretty moderate level. It's loud enough for me. And again, you know, you could drive just about any type of speakers with this, either 4 ohm or 8 ohm speakers. So I think that's about it that I have to, you know, all I have to say about this amplifier. And I'm sorry I was so rough about, I think that's about it for this amplifier. There's nothing else really much to say about it. I think I went over just about everything. But again, I apologize if I'm all over the place talking about this amplifier, because I did not plan to do you know, this is not a review, as I said before, but I did not plan to talk about this amplifier. But since I have time right now, I just decided I might as well. You know, I did not expect to do this, so I hope I explained everything. But anyway, this is, you know, basically that's all you really need to know about it. You know, as far as the sound quality and the connectivity, you know, it connects to everything, any audio input from a TV to a laptop. And it just doesn't have Bluetooth, but as I said before, you could buy a Bluetooth adapter and get Bluetooth that way if you really need it or if you really want it. And I think for, you know, for the build quality, it's very solid, very heavy, you know, for its size. I think it weighs like 2 pounds. So it feels very solid, and the build quality is, you know, is good. The only thing is the terminals, they average, as you can see. You know, you had these inexpensive, these tiny binding post terminals that you see on a lot of amplifiers like this, especially the topping amplifiers. They had the same binding post terminals. But I think that's about it. So, oh yeah, would you buy this, you know, or should you get this? To be honest, when it was introduced for $140, I would definitely not recommend this if you had to pay $140 for this. You better off at buying a full-size amplifier, something like Audio Source, for $100. You could get them on eBay for like $89 plus shipping. But if you could find this amplifier for, let's say, $50 or under, it's definitely worth getting for $50. But if it's over 50, like I say, 60, 80, it's not worth it, even 100, because you can find better amplifiers out there for under $100 that has better sound than this. And also, as I mentioned before, the Audio Source amplifier, it's a great amplifier, but it's a full-size amplifier that's designed to be used in garages or just to be used as a external amplifier for preamps. It's an integrated amplifier, but it's just your standard amplifier. It doesn't have Bluetooth, doesn't have oh, I forgot to mention, this also has a remote control. So yeah, it comes with a remote control, and you could adjust the volume, and you could switch from USB to auxiliary inputs. So you could do a lot of switch selecting when you have the remote, instead of just doing it by hand. You could adjust the volume and stuff. So I forgot to mention that it does come with a remote. But even though it comes with all that, still for $100 or $140, you can find better amplifiers or full-size amplifiers that have better sound than this. So that's about it, and I hope, you know, you enjoyed this talk about this amplifier. And if I have time, I'm gonna do more videos on audio equipment, and I'll start back to doing videos on you know, PCs and computer reviews and stuff like that if I have time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.